Prepare for adventure. Welcome to Scotty Huggins Unsupervised, the podcast where host Scotty Huggins dives deep into captivating conversations with extraordinary individuals who dare to push the limits. Whether it's racing motorcycles or exploring the unknown, Scott's boundless curiosity takes center stage. Let the unsupervised journey begin.
On this episode of Scotty Huggins Unsupervised, we have none other than Max Sullivan back on the podcast to talk about his experience at the South American Dakars. These are the Dakars I remember best. You had Robbie Gordon in his Hummer. You had bikes burning to the ground. You had massive, massive dunes. You had altitude problems where the bikes and cars wouldn't run properly. You had just additional challenges, while Dakar was already hard enough. So without further ado, let's get into it.
I think probably start like at the beginning, like how did we get that one? Because we can come out of what we did last time with the Honda one.
Yeah.
That Mark didn't like the
Management
and stepped into this, and then because it'll progress on that there really was no good management. And it's another lesson on how
at any one of the Dakars
things start to fall apart.
Yeah, right. So like even with the American team, that wasn't.
No, not really. Like it's very difficult because you don't have it, as you know, it costs so much money to have a person there.
Yeah.
So very few people will actually have a team manager.
Yeah, right.
So Scott was sort of the team manager, but he's also the mechanic.
But wasn't Mike the owner?
No, yeah, but he's riding.
I know. So he's not managing anything then, is he?
No, you can't manage and ride.
That's a disaster.
Yeah.
So did you guys fly to America first then?
No. I'd never met these guys until 5 o'clock in the morning when they turned up at the house.
Really? This
Yeah.
was in Chile or Peru?
Peru. Argentina.
In Argentina.
When it started there.
Oh, so it started down the bottom and made its way all the way to the top at Peru, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, for some reason I think it's gone the other way. So it started in, was it Mar del Plata and worked its way up. Oh, I see the arrows now, yeah. So that's why you were sort of going across the Andes. What's that, day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or day 6 you were going across the Andes, is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, right. So how did you end up getting this mechanicing gig? Just through Mark?
Yeah. Yep.
So he decided not to go with Honda again.
Yep.
Because it was a bit of a screw around.
Shit show.
Yeah, a shit show to say the least.
Yeah.
And so I hooked up with this. What was the team name?
Freedom Rally Racing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's a good American name.
Yeah.
Freedom.
Yeah. Americans, fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's right. America, fuck yeah. That's funny. And so he had his bike in Australia already, or it was already in America, or?
It was in, we shipped it over.
Mm.
Yeah.
After you prepped it?
Yeah, prepped it. I'm trying to remember because I remember Mark bought, you don't just buy one $45,000 rally bike, you buy two.
Yeah.
One to ride in Australia and one to set up.
To race, yeah.
And I can't remember for sure. I think that may be one that he actually sent to France first. And then it came with the shipment, the Dakar shipment from Le Havre down to Buenos Aires.
Yeah, right.
And then we had to pick it up from Buenos Aires and then get it down to Mar del Plata.
Yeah,
right.
No,
sorry, they might have landed at Mar del Plata that time. We flew
directly in.
No, we flew in, then we had a 5-hour drive down.
Yeah, right. Before anything even starts.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I had to prep the bike. But it's, as you saw, like it's made like get stickers on there, just last minute stuff. The rest of the bike is ready to go, but it's still like I made a note there that, leading up to, scrutineering, I was working until 2 o'clock in the morning, finishing things off to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning to go to scrutineering for just about a whole day.
That's nuts. And you think everything should be ready, but it's never turns out that way, does it?
No. We can talk about that. So I guess just we'll start off with how do we get into this one, talk about Mark and then what he wanted to do, and then progress on how it sort of fell apart. And that's where there's one of those videos there where I talk, like it was, I think I've videoed it on the first night. It was either the first night or the second day when I said, the fucking idiots are up till 5 o'clock in the morning, and I had a gutful and went to bed.
Yeah. Yeah. And so they're still working at 5 in the morning?
Yeah, they didn't need to. Like they're
doing extra things that they don't need to be doing.
Poor management, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And that's what I mean about Scott was sort of Mike owned the team. Scott was, I guess, sort of the team manager.
But also the mechanic.
Yeah. And it's their first Dakar. So I think they've had rally experience, but first Dakar.
Yeah,
it's just like, not that I was overly experienced, but you've only got to go to one to realise just how important everything is. I mean, even safari, it's the same thing. The safaris of old, I mean, when they're 7 days long and you're travelling every single day, you've got to be organised.
Yeah.
You've got to know what your role is and what you've got to do.
Yeah, yeah.
To be good at it.
Yeah, yeah. And they just didn't have that then. No. Well, and the other thing too is it would be hard. It would for me, if I was going with a team that had never gone before, it'd be like, red flag, you know what I mean? Going, like, this could be, they don't know what they're doing as much as I don't know what I'm doing. And Mark would even know what he's doing more than they would almost, because he's been to a Dakar.
Yeah.
So, like, it'd be a red flag for a team that hadn't been before, because you're like, this is going to be a disaster. Like, it's bound to be a disaster because you must learn so much.
Yeah, but you don't think it's going to be, because you know that they've got rally experience. Mark's been to the States several times, been riding with Mike, spoke to them. I'm the one who gets dragged in at the last minute, but they already had lots and lots of conversations, and whether it be one-on-one, face-to-face, or over the phone, and setting everything up, thinking, all right, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But when you get there and it doesn't start to happen, and there's a few things that happen along the way that are out of their control, but then what do you do? How do you work that out? That RV turned up on like day 4.
What?
Yeah.
So you didn't have an RV until the 4th day in? How's that work? What did you do, camp? Like just tent?
We had to hire a 4-wheel drive, a Econovan, and drive that.
Jesus
That's the one that had no air conditioning and 43-degree heat.
Really?
Yeah.
And so then the camper van turned up after that, and then you keep both vans then? Keep both vehicles?
No, the other one went back.
Really?
Yeah, because somebody had to bring the RV. So it arrived like maybe 2 days after the race started, but by that stage we're in another country.
So they had to catch up.
They had to pay someone to drive it all the way over to where we were, catch up, swap the vehicles and take the other one back.
Oh, my God. And what, just because it was late on the ship or something, or what?
Went to the wrong country.
They sent it to the wrong country by accident, or it somehow ended up there.
Yeah. That's what I mean. There's stuff out of your control.
Yeah. And so what, they had to then drive it from the wrong country to...
Yeah.
Oh.
So it still ended up in Mar del Plata.
Yeah.
But after we've left.
Far out. That's a disaster. And like, this is why it's probably important to not turn up, only a few days before, because you should have everything planned to turn up a week before minimum, before it all goes pear-shaped like it's gonna. Like, you kind of know something's gonna go wrong no matter what you do.
Yeah, but see, they also when we did the subsequent ones, let's say 2014, when Mark's getting his van there, you can't get it there too early, because otherwise you're going to be there to get it off the wharf, because you get charged for it as well.
Yeah.
So there's got to be that fine window between how long can it sit on the wharf, as in costing you a fortune, or you've got to get there early, or send someone there to get it off the wharf.
Or send someone there, like I say, send a local there that to pick it up. And I mean, it'd be difficult then, and it would be less difficult now, because the way that technology is now, you could ring someone and get a hold of a bike shop or whatever and get them to go out and pick it up and bring it back to their bike shop and store it for 3 or 4 days or a week before you got there.
Yeah.
But then it was still difficult the internet wasn't that good then, it was kind of not bad, but it wasn't great,
No.
So I think people quickly forget how easy things are now compared to what they were then to really get things organised in another country.
Yep.
And especially then in Argentina, like in South America, where they probably were 10 years behind anyway.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
So they're more like living in 2002 still rather than 2020 or 2012. So, yeah. But so the Dakars in South America were not that much different as far as for mechanics or for riders, as far as the setup and the adventure. Like, it was still a real adventure, wasn't it?
For everyone involved.
Yes.
Yeah. It changed a lot from Africa because, as we spoke in the first podcast, in Africa in 2007, even KTM factory team had no pressure washers. They had no quick shades. No one did.
Right.
They had none of these blow-up bloody dust-proof rooms that they put cars into and rebuild engines. Yep. They don't have air conditionings. The riders all slept or mostly slept in tents. South America was a progression, and then Saudi's another progression after that. So South America was the first time when, although some of the roads were pretty bad and they end up having some dramas on the roads, they were able to have RVs. And all of a sudden the riders are going, hang on, we can have
a full bed.
Yeah, you can have air conditioning in the heat, and when it's colder when we're up the top, we can turn the heater on, and we can take more than one change of riding clothes and do all sorts of stuff. So it was a real progression in that respect.
Yeah. And even it looked like the organisation in the parts trucks and stuff like that got way, way better. And we were watching a video earlier today where they've got the mechanics got a shower in the truck, like the factory KTM team.
Yeah,
guys,
finally had their own shower.
The mechanics got their own shower, which is, pretty cool.
Okay, Rolly, what do we got?
This is our new shower in our new truck.
Excellent.
Only mechanics shower.
Only for the mechanics?
And no bike wash.
No bike wash. Only mechanics. So what do you reckon, Mark? We'll have this for next year? Beautiful truck. All set out.
Max, don't forget this.
Oh. Excellent. At least 3, maybe 4 bivouacs where Karcher now came on as a sponsor and set up
a wash bay type thing.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 of them in a row.
Yeah.
And brought in their own water and everything, and you could take your car, your bike, all the competitors' vehicles, and pressure wash them.
Yeah, right.
Like it's just one step away from being so much harder than what it used to be, which is good. I always tell the story because I'm on the other side of the fence. I'm not riding it. I'm not experiencing that. But for me, my adventure is going along and being part of getting that rider across the line. And like you talk about your type 1, type 2, type 3 fun.
Yeah.
As much as it's a pain in the ass when there's a dust storm and the truck's late and there's nothing on the ground to work on and you've got to just do your best with a head torch, it's not fun at the time, but it's challenging. And for someone like myself, that's what makes it exciting. That's why I want to go back and do it. And just enjoy the challenge of trying to do something that's you're not working in a workshop. You don't have a bike hoist. You don't have
something that's almost impossible to do a perfect job. You just need to get it as perfect as you can, and sort of do as much maintenance as like I always like to think about a lot of things as a triage system. So you're just triaging the most important parts, and I think it's not easy to do in life in general, is to triage the important things and forget about the things that aren't important, and it would have to train you to go, okay, I need to change the oil, I need to change the air filter. Everything else can wait. And if I get time, I'll fix that dent in the rim or whatever it is,
Yeah, and even the way I think we started to get some clarification in Argentina and Chile about where the riders were during the day. But Africa, again, when you go back there, you've got no idea. And here, this is one of the first ones second one I did in South America. And it was still the same. I think one of these videos where I'm walking around saying, we've been here for 5 hours now and we're waiting for the bikes to come in.
Yeah. Yep.
And you've got no idea. Where now it's all live tracking and you've got mobile phone reception where we didn't have there. Like I got a note there, like when we're in Argentina, Mar del Plata, I received the same SMS from my dad 46 times because that's what the service is like there.
Oh, so it just was stuck repeating the same message.
Yep, just came through 46 times, and that was just him. And then there was everyone. So you're getting these messages constantly, but you just got to open up and read it and go, oh, it's the same message you sent last time. Oh, it's the same message again. So it becomes unreliable.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you put that back into the race perspective, you pull up at a bivouac and you might get there late and the bike's already there, or you might turn up and then when's the bike going to arrive?
Yeah.
So your triage system, as you say, you've got to do that when he arrives. But does he arrive at 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 2 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, to start doing something because it's already dark and you don't want to be working too late.
It's already 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And so when is that truck going to turn up? You don't know. Is the truck going to turn up?
Is it bogged? Is it broken down? Are they lost?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So there's all sorts of challenges.
And this is the funny thing. I think you said this in the last podcast too, is like on this Dakar, you hop straight in the truck and go to sleep. And one of the other mechanics was giving you shit going, look, he's going to go to sleep again. You always sleep. But he's never done it before. And you know how exhausted you're going to be after 14 days of slinging spanners and getting no sleep. Yep. You know, and so you're the smart one that knows what he's doing, going and catching up as much sleep as possible.
Yeah, you just got to bank it wherever you can.
Yeah.
And so, like Mark decided to do this event with his mate from America because we finished the Honda one, and as we're driving back from the airport in Sydney, Mark said, "Do you want to go again next year?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll go again." And he said, "I'm not going on a Honda though, so I don't like the way it was run, so I need to do my own thing." So then, throughout the next 12 months, he's got a mate, Mike Stanfield, in the States, not sure what part, who had a Freedom motorcycle shop. Mm-hmm. And so he decided Mike wanted to do it. And again, Mike's not a young man. I think, couldn't quote me, but I reckon Mike was in his 60s, early 60s.
Right.
And then so Scott, Jaime, was Mexican guy. He was the guy who was hassling me about being asleep. Yeah, so they were going to come across, and Mark, he'd been over to the States, done riding with Mike. They had plenty of conversations and emails, et cetera, working out what's going to go on. And so I had my little bit of input into it. They wanted to know what I was bringing to put on the truck in the way of tools and Mark's parts, et cetera, so they can work out. Because when you see a shot of the truck, they'd gone to a lot of effort to do it. Now, they'd done rally elsewhere. I'm not sure whether it was international or just locally, but they'd never done a Dakar before. And so the idea of leaving the Honda one because it wasn't well managed and then going on to this seemed like a good idea at the time. And then the wheel, like it wasn't a complete disaster, but you can see how the wheels fall off and they start falling off from the start. The wheel nuts just pop off as soon as you get into Buenos Aires.
Yeah.
So we arrived in Buenos Aires. We had a 5-hour drive down to Mar del Plata where they started, and we just had some local guys that hired from somewhere to drive me down there. I was just in this, I can't remember if it was a 4-wheel drive or something, because I remember sitting in there and they had this cup and it had like a metal tube coming out of it with something there, and they were sucking on it, and they were just sort of like laughing and passing it around, and they're like, "Hey, you want some of this?" And I'm like, "No."
What is it?
Yeah, I didn't speak Spanish, so and I'm like, "Nah." I found out later on it's tea.
Cocaine tea?
No, it's just normal tea.
Oh, just normal tea.
Yeah, it was just, it was I forget what they called it, mate.
Oh, yeah.
And they put this tea in the metal straw thing that sits in the water.
Oh, yeah,
but
right.
when you don't know and you've just been put into a van with a couple of dudes who were just laughing their heads off going, "Let's go for a drive."
Yeah.
And you go, "No, I'm not." "Oh, yeah, no. No, thanks." So we got down there. We still had preparation to do on the bike. We had to get the bike from the wharf for starters. So I'm pretty sure it had gone to France and went from Le Havre with the rest of the Dakar circus to make it to Mar del Plata. Then we had to go and pick up the bike, and of course it's been on a boat for 3 months, didn't run properly, And luckily I did the 2011 Australian Safari with KTM, with Don McGrath, and that's when Cyril Dupre came out. So that's how I got to know Rolly. So we pulled up at the port and you're not really expecting the bike not to run properly. So I'm like, oh, shit. Anyway, Rolly's giving me a hand. They're saying, oh, come and get out of the sun, come under our shelter, and they're giving me a drink and helped me pull the carby off the bike, give it a clean out. The accelerator pump was blocked and cleaned it all up, got it back together, and away we went. But then you still had preparation back at the house that we'd hired, and the Americans hadn't turned up yet. So what happened with their vehicles is they're coming directly from America to Mar del Plata, and they put both vehicles, the big RV and their support truck, on the same boat. But somewhere along the line, someone who's in charge of that boat has decided, hey, let's just go to Brazil first. Went to Brazil, took both vehicles off, put one vehicle on, and sent the boat around to Mar del Plata in Argentina. So that's how the RV went missing. Not through any, and this is what you can't plan for that, because you don't think, you put them both on the same boat. You assume that the boat's going to arrive when it says it's going to. It doesn't. Now there are other vehicles in another country.
Oh, what a disaster.
So I worked on the bike until about 2 o'clock in the morning, just fitting the sticker kit and finish off little bits and pieces.
Get it running and everything too.
Yep. Because we had scrutiny the next day. I went to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning. 5 o'clock in the morning, got a knock on the door of these wide awake Americans coming bashing in the door. And there was another dude they had with him. He was a nice guy, Dave Stridham, and he was there pretty much as a photographer.
Yeah, right.
And he was a big South African dude, I tell you.
Yeah, right.
And, he was good, but like big, loud dude. And say like, man, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm trying to get some sleep, and everyone's just waking them up and they're bashing around. And so that was the start of our thing. The very next day, we're going through the truck, sorting things out, what's going to happen with the truck and making sure my stuff fits into the truck. And then they went, oh, battery's a bit, how you going? So we'll put it on charge. So they go and plug it in. Boom. Up she goes. It's gone into smoke because it's 110 volts and they're running 220 over there.
Yep.
So again, little things like that. So now your battery charge is toast. It's gone.
Fuck.
And it just starts to compound from there. So I'm not sure which video. There's one of them there, and it was on the very first night of racing. So we went through scrutiny and we got all that done, which is a nightmare in itself, as you've seen, just how big the whole circus is to go through it all.
I think it's better now, but like even when I saw from the Dakars of old, and I see the scrutineering, I just go, I don't know how the hell you guys even did that. Like the scrutineering looks like the hardest bit, almost. You know?
Like obviously the KTM guys, official teams, and all the really experienced people, they get through it fairly quickly. They know the right people, they know the right order, what to do things in.
Yeah.
But when we did with Christoph in Africa, and then we did it with Jake.
Yeah.
It was a full day, and I mean a 12-hour day to go through scrutineering. But it's different. So this was much quicker because we now know a few more people. We knew the process.
Yeah.
The 450RR's already got all the wiring on it, so that's ready to go, where some of the stuff we might have put on the CRF back in the Honda days was, we need to fix this up. We might have to start something else and put another wire here.
Yeah.
And do some actual work out in the car park before you can get your bike through scrutineering. So everything is valuable. So we've already got a lack of sleep before we even get to scrutineering.
Yeah.
And then it goes from there. So I was trying to think what happened after that. Yes, on the first night. Oh, that's right. We're talking about, as we found with the Honda ones, when the fuel tanks, we'd never raced with those fuel tanks and the tyres rubbed through them. And we always said back in the day, safari days, is never race with something that you've never tested.
Yes.
I think from memory, Mike, I don't think he'd done a lot of sand riding from memory. I think that might have been his weak point.
Well, that's a bad idea. It's all sand.
So then they decided to put a recluse clutch in it. But when I spoke to Scott, again, I'm only going off memory, I think he was saying that they've only just put it in, but this should be really good. And Mark and I are looking at each other and going, you don't change the recipe at the event or just a week before. You need to make sure that recluse clutch work fine.
Yeah.
When you've got them all sorted out and tested them and is it going to work the way you want to ride, etc. So, of course, they put it in, and I've got I'm not sure I've got it in here, but I've got a photo at one stage. Like, I got Mark's bike in, I've finished working on the bike, and then I've looked at my watch and I've taken a photo of Mike's bike laying on the ground, clutch cover off it, Scott's still working on it, take a photo of my watch, and it's 4 a.m. on day one.
Oh, seriously?
And you think, it's not going to get any better from here.
At the end of day one?
Yeah. Yep, at the end of day one.
So it's obviously been a problem the whole day. He struggled the whole day for whatever, for whatever reason.
So it was just, not saying, was a recluse the right thing to do? And I'm sure there's people who've ridden with recluse clutches, so I'm not bagging the clutch, but
no,
they hadn't had enough experience with it to get it set up the way they wanted to do it. And now they're trying to do it on the first day of the Dakar.
In the pits.
4 o'clock in the morning.
In the pits, in the sand. Like, they haven't tested it enough to know what it's going to behave like,
Yeah. And so Jaime was working on a bike, Scott's working on a bike, but I think Scott was sort of working on, because they also had Luis there, and he was riding a KTM 150 two-stroke.
Yeah, I saw this.
Yeah.
That's mad because, I've read about them trying to get like 125 two-strokes and 150 two-strokes and stuff across the line before. I don't think, has any of them ever finished, like on a little engine bike like that? Or is it just never
I'm
ever
not
happened?
sure. Not sure.
He would have to be one of the last, I don't know this, but he had to be one of the last small bore two-strokes to have competed at Dakar. I don't think they allowed them that much later on. And that's what I was saying to you before. And I would imagine he would have to get permission to do it, to see if he could finish. Because they stopped allowing obscure bikes, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a 152 stroke. He's got look at that. Look at, I didn't notice it before. On the radiator cover, there's a spare clutch pad.
Yep.
That's a good spot for it. Yeah, so he rode a 150 two-stroke.
That's it's a rebuild every night.
Yeah.
Piston and rings in the thing. So
and that takes an hour each time. You can probably do it a bit faster, but
no, it takes longer. And one of the things Mark Davidson taught me, I've never forgotten it, and he mentioned it during the Honda days, that work expands to consume the time available.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
And he's dead set right. So that's always, it's helped me because it makes you think when you, as you say, you've got that triage bit, but you've also got to think ahead. I've got to get some sleep because I'm the one responsible for the motorcycle.
Yes.
Provided that rider comes in the next day, I still have a job to do. So when's the bike got to be ready? Well, I've got until he gets up in the morning to his start time to do it. But that's not the way you should be doing it. You should be trying to do as much as you can in a short amount of time, get it done, finished, get some sleep.
Give yourself a deadline.
Not just let it expand. And this is what I think Scott and Jaime didn't quite focus on. They're focusing on the bike and we've got more time, so let's just keep working on it and we'll try this and we'll try that and we'll do this. Not thinking about, hang on, you got 14 days of this.
Yeah.
And day one, you're up until 4 o'clock in the morning. And that was 4 o'clock in the morning when I ended up going to bed at 5. I gave my hand to pack up because, again, there was no real management as in this is your job. From memory, I remember Mark was telling me when I go across there, he said, your job is to work on my bike. That's what I'm paying for.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And he said, you're not to drive. You're not going to drive a vehicle. And he said, we will have a setup and a pack-up, a setup/pack-up crew.
Yeah.
So in other words, the mechanics do their job. Someone's going to drive, and the driver may be the setup and pack-up crew. But he said once you finish, obviously you put your tools and things like that away, but the quick shade, the tarps, the tables, and everything, that's for the crew. You just go and get some sleep. Yep. That's how it's going to work. So that is ideal. That's what you should be doing. But as we said earlier, it costs so much money to have a person there, regardless of whether they work or not. So, pardon me, it's not as easy to have extra people there to either just manage or just do these things. But we had enough people to do it, but then they weren't really doing what they were supposed to be doing.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's when, another wheel lug comes off and the wheel starts to get a bit wobbly.
Yeah.
And then your mechanics who are staying up too late And that was another one. I think I even mentioned it in one of the videos. It was me talking about the fact that Mark's come in, done the right thing. So Jenny was with us as well, Mark's wife. So she sort of helped Mark, with his nutrition and his timetable and getting his paperwork and scrolls and things like that. So that's an awesome help there, and also help. But Mark's pretty switched on. So he'd go and have his feed. He'd come back. How you going? Yeah, we're all good. Any questions? No. And then he'll go and go to sleep.
Yep.
And then I noticed at 10 or 11 o'clock at night, Mike's still wandering around. And you're thinking, right, you're not the youngest, fittest rider in the world. You've just had a pretty tough day. Yes, you've got a problem with your bike, but that's where you need to turn off.
Trust. Just trust it's going to get done.
Trust the mechanic and say, I'll get up in the morning and it'll be ready to ride.
Yeah.
And again, so he's gone to bed. Again, it's not a huge amount, but it's 2 or 3 hours after Mark's gone to bed.
Yeah.
That's going to compound. If you keep doing that every night, it's not going to be good for you.
But the difference is too, Mark's done 1 or 2 Dakars at this stage.
Yeah.
So he knows what.
And so they're still feeling relatively fresh on day one. But as I say, you've got to bank it. You've got to think about this is 14 days and you've got no idea what's going to happen in the next few days.
Yeah, so it becomes very difficult, doesn't it?
Yep. So then we headed off in this little van that they'd hired, waiting for the RV. So it then had to come from Mar del Plata. We were in another country by the time it arrived and we're still moving. So then they had to sort of come across. So by the time the RV actually arrived and we could use it, Mark and Mike are out of the race.
Oh, no. Seriously?
Yeah.
Already?
Yep. So,
and even I was listening to a video the other day because I was doing a bit of research, and Cyril Dupre said 2012 Dakar was the hardest Dakar he's ever done.
Yep. Which
is pretty interesting when you think about it. I mean, whether or not there's been harder Dakars now, I don't know. But he said, this is in 2013. He said this. He goes, 2012 Dakar was the hardest Dakar he'd ever done.
Yeah, definitely was. And I think there was 5 KTM factory bikes.
Yep.
Every one of them got a scheduled engine change that year. So I
thought they get penalised for having.
They do.
Oh. So they get penalised.
A penalty's better than a DNF.
Yeah, right. But they still won.
Yep. So Coma, he'd won the year before.
Yep.
And then Dupre won in 2012.
2012, yeah. And so they both. What's the penalty for engine change? Is it 45 minutes or is it 2 or 3 hours? Or 2 hours?
Don't remember what it is.
Yeah.
But all of the top riders took an engine that year, I think, from memory.
They all did.
It was pretty hard. Again, one of the videos I got there Mark was out on day 5, I think. And by that stage, started with 188 riders and 88 were already out.
On day 5?
On day 5.
That's nuts, hey?
So, yeah.
And what, was it just the altitude or is it the difficulty or what's the go? Or is it just the sand, revving the bike too hard? There's a KTM
I'll go and have a look.
And it's burnt to the ground.
I'll go and have a look.
Yeah, it's one of about 6 that I saw. Plus there was some quads as well.
$150,000 bike burnt to the ground just in a bin.
Unfortunately, he blew up an engine, was out on that day.
Do you reckon the temperature and the wind cause a problem? Just pushing the bike around and because it's the ambient temperature is so much hotter as well that it just cooks the bike?
I do remember it was really, really hot because it was the year after that Mark was complaining about so much heat because the 450RR exhaust pipe runs under your left-hand foot peg.
Yeah, it's melting your boots.
So we end up, and blistering your feet.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because you're already in, 45, 50 degree desert.
Plus the extra temperature.
And then you're getting into sand and you're getting bogged and you're revving the shit out of it and it's getting hotter and hotter. So for the next year, I think it was, or it might have been 2014 by the time we did it. They could be. So we end up getting his header pipes ceramic coating.
Oh, yeah?
To try and reduce some of the heat.
That work?
It did. That's a whole nother story, actually, because I did a story on it with Comp Coating, who did it for us. And I said, I want to do some tests on this before we even start and we'll see how good your Comp Coating is. And he said, yeah, sure. So, you have different colours to choose from. So I put the bike on a stand, used a infrared thermometer, checked the temperature of the header pipe, started the bike, and all I did was just let it idle, just naturally build up heat so I could have it consistent for the next test. And I recorded it every 30 seconds what it was, got myself a little basic graph on how the temperature rose and what temperature it got to. Then we took it to comp coding, and you had a choice of colours. And one of the colours was titanium. And Mark said, well, I don't want to get a titanium header pipe colour. I want people to know I spent money on it. So he said, let's make it white.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so we'll get white. And so I was there taking some photos. The guy's name might be Rob from memory. I can't remember, a long time ago. And he was talking about the white, and he said, oh, this white, it just turned up. It's a bit strange. It's a bit thick. He said, I asked the guys, he buys it from the States, and said, this stuff just doesn't seem the same consistency as the other colours and the other white that I've had before. So they said if I mix this and mix that, it'll all be good, no difference. Okay, cool. So he did it. I took the header pipe away, put it back on, and rang him up, and he said, how'd it go? I said, it's hotter.
It's hotter?
It's hotter.
Really?
Yeah, the temperature went up.
How's that supposed to be?
I don't know.
Oh.
That's what he said. Shit, that's not supposed to happen. Said you better bring it back. So we took it back and he stripped the coating off it. And he said, oh, it must be something with that white. He said, I've never seen a tin of it like that before.
Yeah.
So I can't remember what colour. We might have just went for the titanium colour, but we got it recoated again. And then, again, I don't remember, but it might have been like 20% or 25% cooler with the comp coating on. Yeah,
enough.
It definitely made a difference, and it was worthwhile doing.
Yeah.
But there was something wrong with this white.
Yeah, right.
So glad we tested it, because this is what I mean about you got to test stuff before you go and race it.
It could be worse.
You would never think it would, and it was.
Yeah.
So anyway, you fixed that problem. But the problem with the KDMs burning that year, as I say, I'm pretty sure I remember seeing a couple of quads as well who caught fire and burnt to the ground.
Yep.
And I think there was like maybe half a dozen 450 RRs.
Yep.
So that year they had carbon fibre bash plates, which you've got your water container in there as well.
Yeah.
And to get some airflow over the engine, they had some cutouts, and they're only, sort of yay big on either side.
Yeah.
But it just happened to be the top of the desert where they went through, and there's, I don't know, not sure what grass you call it. We'll call it some sort of little short spin effect stuff.
Yeah.
Was hitting the bash plate, breaking off and going through the holes, which then build up underneath your foot peg.
And then we like kindling.
Which is right under the fuel tank. So, and your foot, you got to remember, like, it's so hot in the desert anyway. Your feet are so hot.
You don't notice it's on fire.
You don't notice it's on fire. And you've got bike boots on it. So by the time you notice it's on fire, it's already gone through the fuel line, the fuel tap's on fire, fuel tank's on fire, lay it on the ground.
Too late.
You're not going to put it out. And I can't remember, one of the guys I spoke to might have been Luis. And he said he came across a guy and his KTM's on the ground, and all he wanted was the GPS back to hand back in, because it was, again, don't remember, it might have been like a $2,000 fine if you don't hand your GPS in. He thought, well, the bike's toast, I may as well get that as well. So he said they took turns just running and jumping over this KTM and kicking it until finally it came out of the holder, because they couldn't get close enough to it. It's too hot.
Yeah.
So they just run, jump, kick, your turn, until they got the GPS out and take it back so he could get some money back, and that's about all he got back out of his bike.
Good way to waste, what is it, $40,000?
$45,000 at the time.
Now they're 55.
So the very next year, the KTMs came out with a carbon fibre bash plate, and you could see the little indents, but they're all filled in now.
Yeah.
So, again, that's a problem that you would never really consider.
You wouldn't realise until it happens, Yeah, wow. And so only the KTMs burnt to the ground, realistically, not any other brand of bike.
I didn't see anything else, no. There may have been, but I didn't see. Like the four-wheelers, obviously, they weren't KTM, but it would have been the same sort of problem with this particular grass where when they're off-piste and they've gone through an area. And there's not much vegetation in the Atacama Desert, but what is there is pretty damn dry.
Yeah.
So,
and the other thing too is, like, you'd think once some people caught wind of that happening, as soon as they went across that spin effects and they got to the other side of it, you pull the grass out or something, you know what I mean? But it's hard to
you may not even realise if you didn't see anyone else on fire.
Yeah.
May not even think about it.
Yeah. Like I know the year that it must have been 2018. 2018, 2017. They had so much, the fesh was so thick and so dusty, and the new KTMs that came out had a smaller air filter.
Yeah.
So the air filter was blocking up and then blowing the bikes up. So all the guys with older RFRs had the bigger air filter, and all the guys with the newer bikes with the smaller air filter were blowing bikes up. So it's one of those things that you wouldn't think would happen until you go to the race. And even then they were changing filters in the middle of the day to try and like limit the problems. But it's one of those things where I think it might have blown up 13 bikes. It was a lot of bikes blew up, you know what I mean? And if you had the older model, well, you were fine because you had more intake, you know.
Yeah.
And just the way that it turned out to be.
But again, most riders with a bit of nous who have got some knowledge of the event will carry a spare filter sealed up in a bag in their pocket.
Yeah.
Doesn't take much and you might need to use it.
Yeah, I even carry a filter on my adventure bike. Like I haven't used it. I have used it once on a long like 14-day trip.
Yeah.
Just change the air filter. Just do it because it's there. Might as well put a clean one in.
Yeah.
And you're not getting that much dust because it's not a competition, right? I mean, it is a competition to some degree. But it's not like you're not riding with 50 other blokes. You're riding with 7 guys or 10 guys, you know.
Yeah.
And so, but just change the filter. Fuck it.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
There's a video there. We should have a look at the one from Chilicetto at the end of day 4.
Hello Dakar fans. Today's day 4. We've just arrived in Chilicetto, which lovely day. Yesterday was, I think, San Rafael, and it was the bit you sort of forget each year what it's like here is it's 35, 40 degrees, sometimes hotter. The aircon in the car doesn't work. You can leave your bottles laying around. The water is just that hot you can't drink it. But it stays like that overnight. So even at midnight, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, it's still, I don't know what it drops to, but it's probably 30 degrees. And you're just sitting around, sweating the whole time. You drink a heap of water. You don't feel real good. You don't feel like eating. I went to have dinner and you sort of look at everything and it's good. I'll start to eat something. And then you get halfway through it and it's like, I just can't eat. Just don't feel like it. And there's not a lot of cold water around. You can't get ice or anything like that. So it's pretty hard. So now we're in Chilicetto. We've got lovely working conditions like that. So it's going to make things a little bit more difficult. Don't want to drop anything on the ground, you just lose it. So we haven't heard yet about where the boys are going. Luis is still in front. Mark came in yesterday. He had a pretty big day, but he was still all smiles. And nothing really wrong with the bike. Crashed on the left hand side, but that was all fine. And that's one way of getting your wheels around. Once we get to Waikiki, it's even worse conditions as far as being really sandy and difficult to get around. Anyway, we'll go over and get ready and hopefully the boys will be in. Don't know what time it is now. It's 3:45 in the afternoon. We come down the Chilicetto Pass. Don't know what it's called, but drove down that today. We got in the van and the entourage that we had, the guys that had a big night didn't feel like driving, so Jaime drove for about 2 hours, hour and a half or something, and then he got tired, pulled over and asked me to drive, so jumped in and drove the van for about 3 hours. Got told to slow down on the dirt road, so they didn't like my driving. I thought I was going alright. And the pass was pretty cool. There's some footage of it on there. Jaime even got a bit worried that I was trying to video it while I was driving down there, but we're going to walking pace, so it wasn't really an issue. But anyway, we'll see you later in the show.
And that was that day too. Still,
That's the end of day 4.
oh, and day 4. Okay.
But you can see there, like I'm glad I videoed because it reminds you of so many things that you just don't remember.
Yeah.
And the little things that do happen. Like, as I said earlier, Mark's whole idea with this, and he sat me down and he said, you are not to drive. And even when we got there, they started talking about, whether Max will drive. And, like, I don't really care. Like I'm just there for the experience. So if they want me to drive, I'll drive.
Yep.
Not a good idea. You should be sleeping, but you just do what's got to be done. But yeah, Mark's a good businessman, and so he's like, no.
Yeah, he knows. He knows what it takes to.
And he sat me down. He said, "They ask you to drive, don't fucking drive. Your job is to work on my bike." And I'm like, okay, right.
Yeah.
But when you got two clowns sitting beside you or just falling asleep because they've been fucking around all night when they shouldn't have,
Yeah.
and they were starting to doze off, it's like, well, safety first. I'm going to have to drive now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but that's the same guy who then has had to go at me earlier on for why are you always sleeping?
Sleeping, yeah.
Because that's my job, mate.
Yeah.
Work on a bike, sleep when I can.
Yeah, exactly right.
I don't know what I'm doing the next day or that night.
Yeah.
And even there, say it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but when is the bike's arriving? We've got no idea.
Yeah, you're just waiting around.
Yep. You can't,
And you can't sleep in 40 degree heat sort of thing.
no, and like the van may not even be there. And like we don't stay in the RV. Yeah. It's just a tent. So
That's what I mean. If you set your tent up and just go and lay in it, it's like a sauna.
Yeah.
Like it's 70 degrees in the tent.
yeah. So
With the sun out.
It's not going to help.
No.
So.
No. So have a look at the video. There's a video of the pass there, I think, somewhere.
It would be part of the Andes, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that mountain was called, but
And it's just like snow capped,
yeah, really interesting country.
Yeah.
Yeah, or continent.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I think that South America doesn't get enough interest for how unique it really is. Like you don't hear many people going to South America that much. People go to Europe and America and other places. But like I've never been to South America, but I'd love to go. I reckon it'd be sick.
Yeah, like it's just I've only ever been to Argentina, Chile, and Peru.
Yep.
But then you go up to Brazil and you got your rainforests and Iguazu Falls and it's just amazing, and it's such a variation on what you've got. It's different scale, but really similar to what we get here in Australia, where you go to some of the places in WA. And there's not a lot happening out there. And then you come across to the rainforest on the East Coast, but their rainforest is obviously huge compared to what we've got.
Plus they got the Andes, which is 5,000 metres, something like that, 6,000 metres.
Yeah, we cross over at 4,728 or something like that.
Yeah, right.
At San Francisco Pass.
And so you were one of the videos we were watching this morning, you were taking altitude sickness
some
pills,
tablets,
some tablets, so that when you go over there, you don't get ill, if that makes sense.
Yeah, or fall asleep.
Yeah, right.
Which is not good if you're driving.
Yeah, because you can't. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So,
but there's another good one there. Like when we got down to Chiloseto, and it says there's a dust storm, so it's a good. Is that the one we showed earlier?
in the pits.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. So like it's blowing a gale, and it's hard to see, but there's just dust everywhere. And like I was saying to you before, like how do you do any mechanical work when it's like that? Like you've got to somehow not let any dust or sand into the engine.
Yeah,
So
luckily, you very rarely have to open the engine up, like, if you've got a clutch problem or something like that. So, and if you do, you're just going to have to try and find somewhere out of the dust to be able to do it. Like I've had to do forks and, air filters and things like that in dust storms, and it's not pleasant, but you've just, and that's what I mean about it's a challenge.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, can you do it? It's not good. You're trying to work with goggles and but that's why there's all the back end stuff that you just don't see.
No.
Even when you watch SBS and everything, they don't sort of show it. And it's, you look at the stuff now, like the big companies, they're all got, these blow up tents that you can drive a vehicle into, and they zip them up, and they got blowers and air conditioning and everything. We never had any of that.
Yeah.
And obviously as a privateer team, you're never going to have that. Like just as a, Joe Blogg's turning up to the event.
Yeah.
So you just got to do whatever you got to do, but it's much more sort of old school.
Yeah, or it was then anyway. It's still developing, hey? And like we were talking about this before, like it's kind of now it's kind of getting so professional and so well honed that it's taken the adventure away from it a little bit. Like the adventure's not there anymore, not as much as it was.
No, it's still a very difficult race. When you talk to the riders and drivers, it's still a huge challenge for them.
Yeah.
But it's made it easier for them because they can go back to their air conditioning and they can have a heater if it's cold and they get fresh clothes every day. And the newer guys competing in that now, they've got no idea what it was like to do it 10 years ago or 15 years ago or 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember doing an interview with Dupre when he was saying in his first couple of, even as a factory rider, he said, you got like 2 sets of nylons.
Yeah, and that's it.
That was it. Yeah, you wear one set for a couple of days and you get to the halfway point and you change over to the other ones. He said, not now. He said, you get a fresh set straight out of the plastic every day.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they got the trucks, they got the room to do it. So everything changes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it just, and Roland, his mechanic, when I spoke to him about what he feels, because he did it for 25 years, I think.
Yeah.
I know he raced mechanic for 25 years, but I think it was pretty much 25 Dakars.
Yeah, right.
And he said it's gone from being extremely hard because his very first one was with BMW where he actually had to do the whole race.
Yeah.
Like, so he's in a race truck that pulls up after the bike's already finished the race, 4 or 5 hours earlier. He then pulls up, gets out of the truck, works on the bike all night, gets back in the truck and continues to race. That's how his first one was.
Oh, wow.
But he said he enjoyed, the challenges. And obviously the KTM factory team have got better conditions than what Mark Davidson in Australia has.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it was still a challenge. And he said, you've still got to get from point A to point B. And, again, for people who didn't hear the first podcast, in Africa we had to navigate our way with a route sheet.
Yeah, like basically
and sometimes off piste, and you've got to go just drive through the desert following a cap heading just the same as a competitor would, not on the same track, but your own navigational challenge to be able to get there. Now it's all on a trippy, which is handed to you by the organisers, and it has the service route on there, which is South America. As you can see, we did have dirt roads, we had challenges, and we had Fesh Fest to drive through, but a lot of it's on tar road.
Yeah.
Where now when you talk to Rolly, because I've never been to Saudi, but he went to there and he said, it's lost the adventure for him. He doesn't feel like it's a challenge anymore.
Yeah, because it's just straight down the tar road, straight to the next
Drive down the tar road, you stop, or you might stay there for 2 days now, where you used to just generally you wouldn't stay anywhere for 2 nights unless it was the rest night.
Yep.
The rest day. And now they're having more of that. So it's making it easier. So not taking anything away from the race itself. It's still extremely difficult. It's still hard.
Back-end crews and stuff.
But even for the riders and drivers, it's easier than what it was 10 years ago. Again, Dupre slept in a tent for years.
Yeah, and it's like that's
not a motorhome.
That's where the legend of the Dakar comes from, is those old Dakars, like where you did have to sleep in the desert for the night and then get up in the morning and keep racing or whatever, like as in sleep in the desert, as in you didn't even camp, you just got as far as you could and then slept in the literally where you stopped.
Yep.
And those sort of legendary stories of the Dakar, and then that's what everyone is still feeding on a little bit, I think, is they're feeding on that old legend of the Dakar, and now it's become a much more professional sort of race,
Yeah.
Now it's a very different thing. And I guess in some ways there's a bit more of that in the African Eco race now that's getting more and more popular.
Yeah.
Because it is kind of like that
old school challenge.
Yeah. Like it's a bit more rough, it's a bit more ready. There's not 300 kilometer transports. It's like you do a 20K transport straight to the stage, into the stage, 700 Ks for the day, go. You know what I mean? And probably a bit easier terrain maybe, but compared to what they're giving the guys now.
Yeah.
But you're not doing the transport. You're not getting the fancy motorhome or whatever it is. You have to sleep in a tent and lots of stuff. And they just roll out carpets, like in Morocco. They roll out carpets and they just have like a bivouac with tents all around it. You know what I mean? And a big fire in the middle.
Yep.
So yeah,
it's certainly changed.
Yeah, it has.
But it's still like this one was still rough. Like if we have a look at that video when I'm sitting in that little green tent. So that's at the end of day 5.
Yeah.
Morning, Dakar fans. Oh, that's almost it, eh? We're in Fleambala. We had a big sandstorm last night. So by now, everything is covered in shit. Tent's full of sand. sleeping bag's full of sand, or your clothes are full of sand, your eyes are full of sand, your ears are full of sand, and other parts of your body, which we won't talk about, are full of sand and dirt. So, as I said yesterday, Mark's out, not riding anymore, gone over a cliff. He's okay. Mike's out, again fatigue, so he's pulled out. Luis is still going, but they're down to about half the field of the bike, so it's been pretty tough. Wasn't an easy race. From what we spoke to people, it's probably harder than what it was last year, but that's the way it goes. So at the moment, we're at Fiambala. They had a late start now, changed the route as well. They had to cancel the stage. Got across the Andes today, so done all the paperwork last night, got passports and everything. But there's a couple of feet of snow on the pass, San Francisco Pass, and some ice. So they've got some snow plows or something, trying to clear it off, or some graders or something. Hopefully we can all get through. So I guess we'll find out later on. We've got the RB here now, so see how that tracks up in the Andes. Taking a tablet for altitude sickness, so hopefully the drivers all stay awake and it all runs well. And I guess we start our holiday to Peru now. So wander around and see who's there. Rod forgot us out, blew an engine yesterday, so that's a bit of a shame. He was doing pretty good. Jeffrey Holmes still going. He blew up 2 turbos the other day and got towed in and arrived at 5 o'clock in the morning, but boys got him going again, so he's still actually winning his class, so he's still pretty happy with that. Dave Schwartz is going, but he's having struggling a bit, reckons it's pretty tough. Dean Nuttall, he had a pretty good run, took the wrong turn yesterday, lost a bit of time, found some really, really deep sand, but again, he's still going, so he's got Mark's handrest on his bike today, trying to keep a bit warmer over the pass. I'll get it. But yeah, look like shit at the moment, feel like shit, but anyway, hopefully we'll get to the other side and have a shower and freshen up, some fresh clothes and start the holiday. Not what I came here for, but we'll see what happens. Better than going home. Catch you later.
So if we were continue on the race, we've still got another 9 days to go. So that's why you've just got to try and manage everything that you possibly can to get your sleep and make sure I do my job so then Mark can do his job and get the bike back to me the next day. And shortly after that, Mike and Mark come walking up. They'd been dropped off from the helicopter and they just walk up to where our camp was. And I remember looking thinking, he looks okay.
Yeah, he looked fine.
He looked fine. He wasn't crippled up with an injury. And later on I saw the bike and the bike's, it's had a tumble, but it's not bad. And you think, what happened? And he said, I went down a cliff and, missed a turn or something. It was like a 20-foot drop off. I don't know whether it was dead straight or, just a rocky incline.
Yeah.
But so they were both out and he said, and then Mike and I, pushed the button and said, we're out. And they both flew back in the helicopter. And it wasn't until it was either the next night or the night after. So by then he's decided, well, I'm not going home because Mike's, Luis is still racing, so we've still got to support. The vehicle has to stay there anyway.
Yeah.
So we can either fly out. Now, he did say to me, he said, do you want to go home or do you want to keep going? I said, no, I may as well keep going. Like, what's the point of going home? You may as well still experience the rest of it and have a bit of a holiday. And as it turns out, I end up giving the boys a hand with that 150 anyway.
Yeah.
But we may as well, we're here, spent the money, so why fly home early?
Yeah.
And so it was a couple of nights afterwards, so we're sitting around and Mark's had a couple of red wines and then tells me a little bit more about the story, which I think, statute of limitations has gone past. We can talk about it now. And unfortunately, Mike's no longer with us anymore. Not through that event, but he was saying that Mike was sort of struggling a bit in the sand, particularly.
Yeah.
And he was starting to have a bit of a tough time. And he said on the morning, on that day 4, whatever it was, he said to Mark, can you ride with me today? And Mark's like, okay. Because he said other than that, they were just running their own race sort of thing. So just ride with me. And so Mark said, yeah, okay. And then they did make the mistake and they did go off the cliff thing. And I don't remember whether he said Mike went over first and then Mark went there. But he said Mike was sitting down and sort of clutching his chest and he was not looking good. He said the colour had drained out of him.
Having a heart attack or something, was he?
Don't know.
Yeah,
and
right.
he's just like, he was a bit, I get the impression that he was just a bit, like he's never said the exact words. He told me that, but he didn't tell me the exact words. But when I've listened to it, you're just thinking, he's thinking his mate's going to have a heart attack.
Yeah.
And so he wasn't going to leave him there.
Yeah.
And so even in my mind, listening to what he said, looking at him walking back from the helicopter, looking at the bike, in my opinion, he's just pulled the pin to stay with his mate.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Never really asked that of him.
Yeah.
But that's my take on
That's
that
what
situation.
it seems like.
So it seemed, to me, it was a bit, it was, like a sad state of affairs because he tried to do it last year or the previous year, crashed and broke his ribs and was definitely out.
Yeah.
And here he is, and he was still going all right. Like from what I saw the night before, like he wasn't, I think
fine.
I said in there, he's still all smiles and going and, it's not easy. And would he have finished? Who knows? But I reckon he was out on that day because he pulled the pin with his mate.
Yeah, right.
Not because he couldn't keep going.
And I mean, he could have stayed there till the helicopter came and the medical crews came and he was, being looked after and then just get up and keep going. And you might be a couple of hours behind, but I mean, just say I was helping a down rider, get your time back, that you could keep going. Could
be. Maybe that didn't go through his head when, as I say, I'm only just assuming all of this.
Yeah.
If that's what's going through your head, if I'm sitting here and you're clutching your chest and you're going, you don't look good and you don't feel good and you're really struggling, then you
definitely need to stay then. But I mean, like I said, once the helicopter comes and the medical crews are there, you go, okay, he's all right now. Let's keep moving. It seems like something that's that important, like a race like the Dakar is like a really, I would feel like it's a very important race to just try and get to the end, right?
Yeah.
And you go there, you spend all that money, you do all that prep time, you do all that work to get there, and then to not finish would have to be upsetting. And like Mark's never finished one, has he?
No, we went back in 2014 with Troy O'Connor.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, that was a sad state of affairs as well, where he was actually helping a downed rider, Ricky Rios, and he had to stay in the desert for the night because old mate was hurt and the medical team radioed him and said, can you stay with him tonight and we'll come and get him in the morning? And so he did. And then by the time he got into the next day, Mark was just an absolute wreck.
Just tired?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they didn't allow him to continue or?
They did, but you got to keep racing.
Yeah. And because you hadn't slept all night.
Yeah. Yep.
Like you'd think they'd do something for you for that and go, hey, you got a free entry next year or something like that,
Yeah, like I would have to look at where I can find it, but I remember seeing on YouTube somewhere someone had actually videoed Mark as he came into in 2014 when he came into because I think it was a marathon night. They're coming into a marathon night.
Yeah.
And Troy was already there, and then everyone took off, and there was an American guy who decided, mate, I'm out, I'm not going. He was still, I can't remember whether he crashed, blew up his bike, whatever. We went, that's it, I'm out. And Troy had said to him, mate, Mark's still coming, as far as I know. He said, if he turns up, he said, can you give him a hand? He said, whatever you do, tell him that they're only just left 30 minutes to go.
So he can catch up.
And there's a video somewhere on YouTube of this guy, and Mark pulls up and he's like blowing bubbles. He's been in the desert. He had a hell of a time trying to get out because they're trying to direct him out of this. Like they did go another point where they went down an embankment, a big cliff.
Yeah.
I think Grabo went down as well. The same
really?
way.
Yeah, right.
But he rode out during the day where Mark found Ricky Rios had rolled his four-wheeler down there and hurt himself.
Yeah.
So trying to get out the next day, they're trying to direct him by Google Maps, but they can't really get they're saying, just go forward. And he's on the radio going, or the
wall.
sat phone, yeah, there's a 3-foot wall or a 4-foot wall. I can't get up that. Oh, okay, well, turn right and go here. So by the time he got to this old mate, the other crew had left by whatever it was, 2 hours or 3 hours. They'd already started. And the old mate's going, you're right, mate. And Mark's going,
just cooked.
He was cooked. Old mate did his, I think he had something like under like 15 minutes. It wasn't a lot. Might have been 30 minutes, but the American guy gave him a hand, did his route sheets quickly, helped him put his scroll in, and then just pat him on the back and, you were right, mate, off you go. And he's like, okay, and off he went. And he was just toast.
Yeah.
So, again, you think how disappointing that is because that wasn't his fault.
No. It sounds like twice it wasn't his fault, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, the first go at it, you know.
Crashed, broke a rib. Well,
yeah.
And that was due to altitude sickness.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you said that. He couldn't get used to it, hey?
Yeah. So then the next year, I remember he was doing a lot of altitude training and going to – there was somebody in Sydney doing altitude training. So he was
indoors.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So he was doing a lot of that to try and help himself on that event. And still didn't get the opportunity.
Yeah. Or didn't even get to the Andes, hey?
No, that would have been – so that's – yeah, that's still at altitude that happened because that's at Fiambala. So that was at the top. So that's when we're about to go down to Chilaceto in the RV.
Yep.
And then so packed up. So, so the RV's finally turned up. But now Mark's just going to drive it to the end because at least he's got somewhere nice to sleep now and out of the race.
Yeah.
But, our challenges still didn't finish there because we got in the RV and as I said, like earlier on in the piece, we're dealing with 40, 45 degree heat. Now we're dealing with 3 feet of snow across the San Francisco Pass.
Yeah.
So they handed out a modified route sheet to us saying that you have to go, when you get to this Y section in the road, you got to go to the left, not the right. Okay, so we had that instruction. But the boys in the big American support vehicle.
Like 4-drive.
Yep. They didn't go and pick up the notes.
Oh, right.
So I can't remember how they missed that, but they didn't get the notes. So then we went the correct way, but the RV, as you've seen, it's a pretty big old RV.
Yeah.
Doesn't handle dirt roads very well. So it took us, 12 hours. And we didn't have breakfast. We had to get going. We had no breakfast. We had no lunch. We thought, we'll get something on the way. Well, there's nothing on the way.
Yeah.
There's no towns.
Yeah.
And we found one service station where we could stop and get fuel. And it was just, I can't remember, but it was whatever was sitting in that servo to eat. And it was not like our servos.
Yeah.
It's just packets of something and you just grab whatever you could so you had something in you. And then we arrived at the bivouac, I think it was like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Like you'd have to work.
Yeah, I think it was like 1:45. So the food hall's open 24 hours.
Yeah.
So we went over and had a feed, and then I came back to see how the boys are going with Luis's bike. And they'd actually made it to the bivouac before we did because they took the wrong turn. But when they got there, they went, okay, if you're four-wheel drive, we'll let you through. So they managed to go the original path, which is quicker.
Yeah.
So they end up getting there like 3 hours earlier than what we did.
Yeah,
but we have no idea where they were. But in the meantime, the winch on the four-wheel drive, no one had put a circumbraker in it. It just rubbed through the wire, set fire to the winch. So they had a winch on the front end and a winch on the back of this thing just in case they needed it. So that set fire to that to stop and put the fire out. And then, but this is all things that just compound, like they just didn't go and get the right instructions and everyone's starting to get fatigued. And by the time I got there at 2 o'clock in the morning, I went over to see how they're going. And I don't remember whether it was that night or another night where Luis had broken a swing arm in his 150. He'd broken the caliper locator off it.
Yep.
And he wanted to rear brake. Got no engine braking.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So we then decided we'll pull a 450 swing arm out and put it in 150, but the spaces around the engine are different. So then we're just getting a grinder and
Cut the spaces down.
And trying to make a 450. So we got it to fit. So I had to give him a hand to do that. So I don't know whether it was that night or just working on the bike in general, but I got there and Scott, he was blowing bubbles because he's just been awake. Because the three of them now went in the RV, so Mike was in with them as well.
Yeah.
But they'd had so little sleep leading up to that, it's now starting to get to them and they're coming down the pass. And when I spoke to them, apparently they said none of them went to sleep. So you should have one person driving and two people should be trying to sleep.
Yeah.
And I think Mike needed some sleep because he was just exhausted from the event.
Yeah.
But just rotate.
And
try and sleep. And they did. And they said they'll awake the whole time. They get down there and as I say, and then Scott ended up with food poisoning.
Oh.
And he's throwing up and it's like, well, I better step in and give you a hand. You just don't know what's going to happen, but it's not helped by the fact that you don't manage your time from the start of the event.
To some degree, it seems like common sense to manage your time and sleep and things like that. You know what I mean? Like, but I think probably when it's their first Dakar, they must get so overexcited that they're like, oh, look at this and look at that and da-da-da. Yeah. And they're just, and like rather than taking it sort of, in some ways taking it seriously and going, right, I need to be a bit disciplined here. And you know, it's like it reminds me of like a military thing where you sit there and go like, okay, you keep watch, and we'll sleep, and then in 6 hours' time we'll swap over.
Yeah,
and it's like, and you just have to trust that guy's going to watch what's going on, and you start hearing weapons going off, then okay, wake up, start fighting, but in the meantime, just trust that it's going to be fine and sleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you have to do. You have to trust the team that you've got. Because if you don't trust the team you've got, well then you'd be like Mike and just walk around till 11 o'clock at night and make sure the bike's getting fixed. Yeah. When you've got two mechanics there doing the job.
And you all think you're bulletproof at the start and you're like, oh, well, it's a bit late, but it'll be fine.
Yeah, no.
But with experience, you know, like it's over 2 weeks and you've already spent time and effort getting ready for the start of the event. So you're already tired by the time you even start.
Yeah.
And you just, I don't know, I just think about it differently. But I was like that even before I got to Dakar because we'd done so many 7-day safaris.
Yeah.
And the 7-day safari is nowhere near as big or as hard as what this is, but it was a good learning curve to work out what a crew has to do to be able to support your rider.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing for the rider. Like, why the hell is the rider up any later than he needs to be?
Yeah, should be straight to bed and then got to get up at 4 a.m. anyway.
Yeah, do what you got to do, but manage yourself and get to bed, or have a manager there who walks around and says, mate, what else do you have to do? What's on your list? If there's nothing there, go to bed.
Yeah, get to bed.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. And you kind of do need that, like you said. Like, it's hard to have a manager who just sort of doesn't do any work, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But literally just tells everyone what to do. And you kind of need that. But then you get that thing of like, oh, he's not doing anything. Well, no, he's doing all the things. He's thinking about the whole picture. He's trying to delegate what has to happen and what doesn't have to happen to make sure things run smoothly, you know?
Yeah, it's no different to a business, is it? Where you might have a manager who sits in his office and everyone else is running around doing things.
Yeah.
He's the most important person, making sure that everyone else is doing what they've got to do when they have to do it, etc. But again, it comes down to cost in that event. Can you afford to have a manager that is just going to be there to manage?
Yeah, for sure.
But I still don't think it was, in that case, it wasn't clearly set out who's calling the shots.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm still one of those people, I'll turn up to something and step back and just observe what's going on because somebody's supposed to be in charge, and you don't really step up until you realise that person's not coping, and then you step in, not sort of somebody who just walks up and I'll make it happen.
Yeah.
But then again, on this particular thing, I've already got a job. I know what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, you're supposed to be slinging spanners for Mark, but at least once that's finished, you could pitch in and do other stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and so who was on the 150?
Luis.
Luis.
Yeah.
And he made it almost to the end, right?
He made it to, I can't remember whether it was the last day or the second last day. I'm pretty sure it might have actually been the last day. and he crashed and broke his wrist.
And didn't keep going.
No.
Like I was saying,
So it may have been his right wrist. I'm not sure.
if it's right wrist, that's very difficult to do anything. You can't do much about that. But if it's left wrist, you just ride with one arm, broken wrist, for the last 100 Ks or whatever. Because usually the penultimate stage is...
Oh, this was it was the last day into Lima.
Yeah,
So
right.
it still was, I do remember it vaguely. It was a big day because we end up finding out like halfway then we still had a couple of hours to drive to get to Lima. So,
Yeah.
it wasn't like he was 50 Ks out. He probably still would have had a fair bit to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a shame to think.
If it's your right wrist, you're buggered. Like, you can't do anything about that. But if it's your left wrist, ooh, like, I mean, you look at Chucky this year.
Yeah.
Like, just, that was an effort. Like, that's good.
Yeah.
Like, broken sternum, broken collarbone,
Yeah.
rode for 3 more days. Well, two proper days, but then a short day at the end. And still was like not that far
Yeah,
back.
good speed.
Like 13th, like faster than I can ride,
Yeah.
when I'm at 100%, He's in 13th place.
Yeah.
Just killing it. Like, you're like, how did you do that, man? Like, that's a big effort.
It is.
And that's tough. Like, you want to talk about Aussies, like in general, Aussies seem to be just more tough than other nationalities. For
you do hear a lot of stories, don't you?
For whatever reason. As an objective view of that, it just seems that Aussies are tougher. And I mean, probably Russians are quite tough too. They have that reputation for being tough. But I mean, even you look at when did Toby win Dakar that year? And his wrist had a problem.
Yeah.
We'd had his wrist bolted back together again. And the screw was, every time he would go on the bike, the screw would flog out more and more and more.
Yep.
And then when he finished the Dakar, and I think he might have won that year, I can't remember. Oh, he's definitely on the podium, but he might have won. And he got x-rays, and the screws there just slopping around in there because what it done, it had flogged the bone out the whole way through the Dakar. And so, like, he's got a screw in his wrist that's just completely flogged out. His wrist is basically doing nothing because the screw's not holding anything together.
Yeah.
And so he rode the whole Dakar like that and then gets to the end and is like, my wrist is killing me. And then goes and gets x-rays and you see the x-rays, you're like, oh, my God.
Yeah,
like,
it doesn't look good, does it?
How did he do that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He basically rode with a broken wrist for 14 days.
Mm-hmm.
And, and Chucky rode for 4 days with
Broken
sternum and broken
collarbone.
collarbone. And still made it to the end and still was in a pretty good position.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Like
Tough as nails.
tough, man, tough.
Yeah.
And I don't think you realise how difficult it would be you've got to do like 900 Ks a day or whatever it is, or 700 Ks a day, 800 Ks a day, like pretty big kilometres on a bike with a broken collarbone. Like that's the toughness levels, super high.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it. But like, if I had a broken wrist on the left-hand side, I would like to think that I would just do the extra 300 or 400 Ks that needs to be done to get to the end, especially if you get that close. And especially if you're on 150 too, because riding on 150...
That's an achievement just to do it on that bike.
Yeah, exactly right. Just to get to the end. But I mean, if it's your right wrist, I don't know what you can do about that.
Probably toast.
Yeah. You can't turn the throttle with a broken wrist.
Yeah.
And you can't use the front brake, which is important.
Yeah.
So...
No, we had a good little holiday after that. It was interesting being in the vehicle with Mark because you got a bit of a history lesson as well. Like we noticed in Peru that there was a heap of buildings in these outskirts of towns that were just abandoned. Most of them are like sort of mud hut type things. I'm not talking real flat houses. And it sort of dawned on Mark and he went, I said, that's right. He said there was the majority of the population in Peru lives in Lima.
Yeah, right.
So, okay. And you think, well, agriculture is not a huge thing out there. But he said, no. He said, have you heard of Shining Path? I said, no. So that was a guerrilla group back in the 80s that was going around and they wanted to overthrow the government.
Yep.
And I think over a number of years, there was like 70,000 deaths and disappearances.
Really?
So they were going around basically and taking people's land and basically saying, you're either going to work for us, like join us, or we're going to take your land, or we'll kill you. And so many people just went, right, I'm going to move to the city. There's safety in numbers.
Yeah.
And they all moved up there.
Yeah, right. So they just abandoned these towns.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you have a look up Shining Path. And
Shining Path, yeah, right.
so it was crazy. And then, of course, we came across the Nazca lines.
I was going to ask you about that, yeah. So where the Nazca lines are in which country?
Peru.
They're in Peru, are they?
Yeah.
On the other side of the Andes, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, right.
So they're down close to the Atacama Desert.
That's how you get up and have a look at them when you're not in an aeroplane. Is that right?
Yeah, so we're just, as I say, I'd heard of Nazca lines, but I hadn't even, I'm just concentrating on Dakar, so I didn't really do any research and thinking we're going to have a holiday.
Yeah.
And we just drive along and Mark goes, we're getting close to Nazca lines. Okay. And then just out of the blue was this tower, and they had a little stall at the bottom of it, and you could buy a few little souvenirs and stuff, just rocks and things that they'd painted on.
Yeah.
And you had to pay a few pesos, and you climbed up to the top, and old mate down the bottom had this whopping great big bolt, and after 10 minutes or something, he just bash on the leg of the thing. Your turn to come down and send more people up.
If people don't know what the Nazca lines are, they're like giant people and different symbols and things like that.
Geoglyphs.
Yeah, geoglyphs that you can only see from aeroplane or from space, basically. Yeah. And you were telling me that I thought they were a built up rock or something.
They're little depressions in the ground.
So they go down, not up.
Yep, but they're not that deep. But they've just moved all the rocks out, moved some of the soil, which exposes a different colour of soil. And there's, I think, like 380 that they've found so far.
Yeah, right.
And they're huge. And the first documentation of them was in the 1500s.
Yeah, right.
Where somebody and they thought they were like walking paths or something.
Oh, right, okay. Not from the air then.
No, not from the air. And then, so obviously you can't see what you can when you look them up. There's 358 of them.
Yeah.
And they were built anywhere from though they reckon there was two different periods. It was 500 BC and then up to 500 AD.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
It is.
So, it was a good experience to see some of that. And
so you got to the end and had the after party and stuff and bits and pieces, or?
Not really. We didn't sort of party that time. I think everyone was sort of down that no one had finished.
Yeah. And did that team go back to Dakar again? Like they might go back to get Dakar again and sort of take everything they learned from them? I think
they did go back the next year.
Did you go back the next year on a different team?
Yeah, the next year I went back with Troy O'Connor from Newcastle, and we hooked up with a Polish team.
Oh, yep.
So that's another whole story. The Poles know how to have a good time.
I bet. Yeah. Story for next time.
Absolutely.
All right, cool. Sounds good. Let's do it again.
No problem.
All right, talk to you soon.
Thanks, mate.
All right, see you guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah!